Welcome to the Kellfire Show. I'm Dr. Kelly Barron, and today I am so excited to have the intimacy expert to millions, Susan Bratton, on. She might be my hero. She is a champion and an advocate for all who desire intimacy and passion their whole life long. She's co-founder and CEO of two corporations, Personal Life Media Inc., a publisher of heart-connected lovemaking techniques and bedroom communication skills, which we all need, and the 20 LLC, a manufacturer of organic and botanical supplements that enhance sexual vitality. Susan is the best-selling author, this fascinated me, the best-selling author and publisher of 34 books and programs, including Sexual Soulmates and Relationship Magic. So welcome, Susan. I was over the moon, telling everyone, guess who's coming on today? Because if any of you that are listening have followed Susan, listen to Susan, she's amazing. So thank you again for coming on and taking the time. I know you have an incredibly busy schedule.
How could I turn down the original Kellfire? Come on.
I like her.
You had me at Kellfire, girl.
Seriously.
I love that. I fell in love with you the minute I read those words.
I know. We talked briefly right before we came on, and Susan and I were talking, and I feel this is really important. What she brings to you, the listener, and the show is, when we talk about sexual health, sexual wellness, pleasure, we tend to always talk about, getting in the right headspace and setting the tone and the mood and breathing and pelvic floor exercises, you name it. But we just generally talk about it, about ourselves. And we sort of equate it to, we have to have this workout routine, or this eating plan. And we know what we need to follow, but do we really follow it? Do we enjoy it? Do we get passionate about it? And I think that Susan has such a good real world approach to this. And so I just wanted to open up the conversation with you and say, I know you are an advocate for all of that, everything that you can bring to the table, to the bedroom. But what's the real truth that we should know?
I think the real truth is that we live in a culture, and this is a fairly global cultural mores, that everything that we see around sexuality is very oriented toward male pleasure. And that since there's no sexual literacy, there's only abstinence-based, scare-based sex education. We never learn the words for our genitals. The only kind of sex that we visually see is movies, television, and pornography that is through the male lens. That we are sitting here, in the 21st century with absolutely no idea what it is that we really want as women in lovemaking. And that's what I've been exploring. I've been exploring everything from how our genitals work differently than the male body, even though we have all of the same parts. There's a really big distinction between female arousal and male arousal that makes us think there's something wrong with us, because the only thing we ever see is male arousal visuals. And so women run around thinking they have low libido, instead of understanding that all they're having is just shitty sex. So, right. I mean, if the sex was good, you'd want it.
Right.
If sex tasted like ice cream instead of like whatever is yucky, ultra processed food, you'd want it. And We don't understand what it takes for us to feel pleasure. We have an extremely limited purview into what female orgasmic pleasure potential is. We don't understand how to play with our parts, our genitals, our breasts, our mouth, our lips, our tongue, our throat, our brain, our feet, our belly. We don't get enough slowness, full body touch, eroticism, sensuality. We think of sex as intercourse. We have the paradigm of foreplay and sex being basically the things we rush through as like the appetizer, which is what's called the main here in Australia, where I am right now. And we rush through that to penetration. Most of us have been pretty much penetrated our entire lives before we were even ready. It didn't feel good. Most of us barely have an orgasm from it. Some women have found a path to that. It's often a quick, fast, and aggressive path that forces an orgasm out of us instead of thinking about our bodies as a wellspring of orgasmic pleasure that simply bubbles up out of us over and over and over in an unlimited capacity. Um, Everything we see in our culture is about shaming our bodies. We're too fat. We're held to some standard of youth when in reality, the sexiest, most capably sexual women in the world are those of us in our 60s and 70s who've had a lifetime of mastery of being massively orgasmic and fully fine with how we look and show up, and we're confident in the bedroom. There's been no recommendation or encouragement for our sexuality. Men are allowed to date younger women, and women who date younger men are like cougars or
Yeah.
whatever,
Hmm.
right? Or we're, over with when we've gone through menopause because we're no longer fertile, so we can't reproduce for the cult. I mean, it's just like the layers of subjugation, repression, guilt, shame, abuse, assault, lack of information, no education, which creates fear, and the fact that we live in societies where we do so much unpaid labor and we are responsible. Now we have to have a career and raise the kids and make sure we do Thanksgiving, make sure we do Christmas, all of the stuff that
Hmm.
women are expected to be doctor, mom, take care of all the appointments, like all this stuff. Plus the fact that we have all of this in America, at least today, and really it's happening in Europe as well. Here in Australia, people have it much. Their nervous systems are so regulated compared to Americans right now. They don't have all of this agitation and this social media division and this hustle culture. I mean, there's negative aspects of that as well. The reason I'm mentioning Australia is because I'm here on a speaking tour, and I'm in Emerald Beach right now, and I just walked down the Solitude Coastal Trail to a lovely breakfast. Saw kangaroo on the way, and it's just easy here. And when you have nervous system dysregulation, when you're on anxiolytics, when you're on antidepressants, when no one takes women's health seriously, when our abortion is being denied, when Plan B is being denied, when you stack all this stuff up, and then you think, okay, we know nothing about our bodies. It's all for the male gaze. And the only way we can actually become turned on is by being relaxed, and we can't relax because life is so stressful. And then we think there's something wrong with us because we're not enjoying sex. Good Lord, that's nuts. And I probably forgot 73 other things that I could add to that list, but we want to get to the good. How do you fix it? But until you take a view of like realization of the landscape, the water you're swimming in as the fish in our culture, you cannot repair it unless you know what's broken. And then what I like to do is I like to give women some really fundamental ideas of where to start to begin to claw back the sexuality that is our not only our God-given right, but that lets us have a longer, healthier, happier life, because sex is what I call one of the four factors of longevity.
Mm.
It is, we have an aura ring, we track our sleep, we look at the food we eat, and we try to eat our vegetables and, eat our proteins and all this stuff and not eat too much junk and sugar and minimize our drinking and all these things. And we know we need to work out, we get in our steps or we go to the gym and we lift our heavy weights and all. But nobody's talking about the fourth factor of longevity, which is hot, heart connected, passionate sex that's massively multi-orgasmic and makes us feel comforted, healthy, and full of fire and power and passion and creativity. And you know why? Because if we were as creative and passionate, if we had our full righteous pleasure, we would be unmanageable. We would not be oppressible, Kelly.
Amen. I have come to the conclusion, I'm 54, so I've come to this
I'm
conclusion that
64.
if women truly stepped into, and I don't like the word power so much. It's got a
Okay.
very masculine feel to it. But if
Yeah.
they stepped into themselves, if they understood and unleashed, and like you said, learned their bodies,
Yeah.
learned about their own sexual pleasure,
Yeah.
and all the goodies that are out there to aid in your sexual pleasure, one
Hmm.
man could not handle us. That's
Oh,
what
I
I
have
feel.
a husband, a boyfriend, and a new lover. And I'm
That's my case.
64 and I'm having the best sex of my life. And my husband loves my boyfriend and he is very expansive. He doesn't know my boyfriend that well because he's rather new, but he's extremely expansive about him as well. He wants me to be a turned on woman because it benefits him.
Oh, absolutely.
And but he's an incredible man. He's the wind beneath my wings. He believes in me. He's lifted me up for 34 years. He's my stable base. He's my protector. He's the love of my life. My boyfriend is devoted to me, devotional to me. I mean, and my lover is like, okay, let's see where this goes. I'm open to riding your ride. I want to learn from you. I want to create experiences with you. I want to see what you're all about. You're beautiful to me. I'm so interested in you. So I'm literally just surrounded and embraced and enveloped in masculine love, affection, appreciation, adoration, orgasmic capacity, etc. I'm really trying in my life to push the edges of my longevity, my energy, my strength, my beauty for my age, whatever that is. Because I feel like you're absolutely gorgeous at 54. I'm absolutely gorgeous at 64. We're going to be gorgeous at 74, at 84. At not, my mother is 88 and she's still beautiful. She's very tiny. She hasn't worked out enough in her life. But I'm doing all kinds of things to push the edges of my mental, creative, and orgasmic capacity right now.
And what do you say to the, and this is slightly off topic, but the women,
Yeah.
women that look at you,
Mm-hmm.
and they look at any woman who's
Mm-hmm.
defying age, and by
Yes.
when I say defying, just basically throwing the middle finger up and saying, I'm going to live out the rest of my life on my
Yes.
terms. And if that means I'm going to walk
Exactly.
around in stilettos, I'm
Right.
walking around in stilettos. Well, what do you say to
Yes.
those women that they get attitudes and they think, how could you do that? And that's so slutty or trashy, or who do you think you are?
I I take them into my compassionate heart
Mm,
And I hold them for the fact that that's a trauma and wounding response of the repression of our society. And I meet them where they are. And I don't expect everyone to love me. And I would imagine that, I am so incredibly loved by millions of people, Cal.
yeah.
And I am also called a slut, a whore, a Jezebel, a harlot. Who does she think she is? All those guys. Doesn't bother me. I'm like, I'm sorry for them.
Right.
I'm not sorry for myself. I'm doing great. I do feel badly for them. And so when I receive their reaction, it doesn't it doesn't hurt me or take me down. It makes me sympathize and have compassion that for where I see where they are in their journey.
Yeah. And I wish more women would, getting back to what we were saying and tying this in, would just go for it. Just own yourself, own your
Yeah.
sexuality.
We
Um,
like to be we like to look sexy.
we
It's
do.
inherent, and it is not because we want it for men. We do like their appreciation. We want to be beautiful. We are beautiful. We want to be beautiful. I don't wear high heels standing up much. I mostly wear them lying down. I'm pretty much I just pretty much am in athleisure 24/7 because I like to work out and go on walks and do all that stuff, and it's comfortable. I know I'm about comfort in my elder slut era, which is what I've taken to calling
Oh,
the current
I
administration
love
of Susan
that.
Bratton, my elder slut era,
I'm getting the
which I
bumper
couldn't
sticker.
do without working out, getting biceps,
That's right.
doing all these. You need strength and nutrition and sleep and good sex. And then you
Good
are
sex.
indomitable.
Good sex. So speaking of heels in the bed,
Yeah,
so let's get into, if you will, kind of
yeah.
like we tend to look, the average woman is going to go, oh, creating scenarios, fantasies, characters, alter egos in the bedroom, like that's just way too
Mm-hmm.
much, or I'm not going to
Mm-hmm.
do that. Where I personally think we're all missing the boat if we don't jump on that. Because I just went to, this is me showing my naivety.
Good.
I was just invited up to the biggest adult store in Charleston. They invited me
Okay,
up to
great.
come see, and I was going to talk to them. And I've not been in many in my entire life. And this
Yeah,
was the Costco of adult stores. And I walked in and I just looked around. There are so many things to play with, to bring
yeah,
into the bedroom,
yeah,
solo or with your partner. I was in shock. And I
yeah,
thought, there's so many things that you could have great, fun, experimental sex pretty much all year round if you
yeah,
just kept picking up something new and trying something new. So, heels in the
exactly.
bedroom, playing out that persona and tapping in. Is that something that you think is valuable, important, and that we should approach this with no shame and no feeling like, yeah, we're slutty or we're a whore because we want to wear a garter belt and stockings and heels in the bedroom?
Yeah, I think you have this intuitive sense of the right direction to go in the conversation. That's probably why you're a good podcast host because you can lead the conversation well for your audience. That's why people love your show. And you nailed it. And that is, I really felt like I was hoping what you would ask me is basically, okay, give me almost like a taxonomy, a roadmap. Okay, Suze, I'm still listening. I hear you. I want to bust out of the paradigm. I want to create my own reality. You're emboldening me. I see what you're saying, but I don't know how to do it. What's the macro strategy? I think it's always good to give people the big picture. Where are we going here?
Right.
And your question was spot on because where you're going is you need to have sexual education through having sexual experiences, solo pleasuring and partnered pleasuring. And The role play is one interesting example. And in some ways, it's almost like a fake it till you make it, which is great. You're using an existing structure and following a model to see what you want and like from it and don't like from it so you can modify. And I think that's a good place to start. But let me go up another level. That's one piece of the macro. So there's a couple of things. Okay, I want to learn about sex. I want to approach my sexuality like I approach my nutrition, my sleep, and my exercise, and my health, my hormones, my learning, my growth mindset, my personal development. Oh, I see. It's part of that. Interesting. Okay. What are the things you need to know? There's three categories. This is what I always like to do is I like to break it down into the simplest concepts.
Perfect.
So the three categories are sex techniques, bedroom communication skills, and intimate health and wellness. And the reason that it is I can teach you all the techniques in the world that will pleasure you and give you orgasms. And orgasms are the kernel, the core, the heart of sexual pleasure because it's the orgasms that are actually the healthy part and they're the fuel. They're the cosmic fuel for your growth and purpose on this planet. They are they're the combustion engine, the nuclear power plant inside you that gives you the creativity, the passion, the purpose for all the other things you do. And the confidence and body confidence and self-love and all kinds of things like that. So they're very much like the magical mushroom journey of your, possibility. And I can teach you all the pleasuring techniques and orgasm skills, but if you can't communicate, you can't really learn them well, and you can't know what you want, ask for it, have smooth flow of conversation in the bedroom, feel really comfortable talking about anything, working through issues and fears, practicing to make perfect. All that stuff comes from communication skills. And the third one is intimate wellness because if you don't have lubrication, if you don't, if sex hurts, if you're struggling to have orgasms, if you've got incontinence, if you've got labial atrophy, clitoral atrophy. A lot of women now are on GLP-1s, which I'm so happy for. They're fantastic for people. And we're really at a good tipping point for getting some of they're really like a hormone replacement in some ways.
Right.
And I think that one of the issues is that when you have that rapid weight loss, you also get a lot of laxity and things like that. So how do you shore that up again as a part of what you're doing? Like you can't just go on GLP-1s and eat sugar, you got to eat healthy. You got to get over your body image issues. You're in a whole new body. Like that's a whole area of growth. So the intimate wellness piece, which is for me at 64, I have the juiciest, most responsive, orgasmic, and I like to use the word yoni for my female genital systems. For any of your listeners who haven't, many of your listeners are going to know about that because of who you are in the world, but the yoni, Y-O-N-I, is my favorite four-letter word because it's the tantric lovemaking word for our female genitals, structures, systems, pleasure, spiritual connection, heart center, everything. And yoni is a very encompassing word, and I like it better than kitty or flower or vulva, which is the outside, vagina, which is just the inside. So I kind of just chose that as a really good anchor word for many people. And when if your yoni is working and it's rich and it's luscious and it's activated and it's full of good blood flow and it's, you've got your topical estrogens and you're juicy and you've got plenty of mucous membrane and you've got high nitric oxide because you're taking a nitric oxide booster and you're eating your vegetables and you're drinking your beet juices and your pomegranate juices and all this stuff and you're getting good blood flow because you're doing your HIIT workouts and you're walking and you're having regular orgasmic intercourse and everything's just working so well. How do you go from the atrophy of a bad sex life to this, juicy, highly pleasurable yoni experience, right? So that's the third stool. So the sex techniques are interesting because you can learn full body touch, orgasm skills, kissing techniques. You can learn oral pleasuring, both giving and receiving. You can learn how to become have orgasmic intercourse, which I honestly think some of my best work is teaching women how to have highly orgasmic intercourse because it's such a pleasurable connection between partners. And a lot of women have, they struggle to achieve even one orgasm from intercourse. They have this very, very small mindset that is like the one and done, like this is their goal and they've checked it off when they're leaving so much pleasure on the table. So I'll drop a link to that right now, and I may drop a few links as we go. At orgasmicintercourse.com are my 10 orgasmic intercourse techniques for lovers who, when she wants to just be orgasming like the whole time she's having intercourse, like how do you get to that? So that's a good one. It's free. So orgasmicintercourse.com is a good place to go. So all the techniques are interesting because you could start anywhere you want. Oh, actually, I want to learn how to have a throatgasm, or I would like to love my breasts into pleasure and nipplegasm possibility, or yeah, I'd like to have a clitoral orgasm, or I'd like to do orgasmic cross training or activation, or whatever it is. You can start anywhere. It's like just choose your adventure. But communication skills, bedroom communication skills, they are really like a stair step. First thing you have to do is be able to start feeling what you're feeling so you know what you want, and using the lips on your mouth to talk for the lips on your yoni, speaking for her. She's talking to you all the time. You just have to say it so you and your partner can manage to the female body, which is different in every moment and on a moon cycle and subject to sleep and stress and all of the things. And she's always different every moment of every day. So just give her what she wants, tune into her. So that's number one. And then training your partner to love your feedback because it helps them win. That's very important, that they go from feeling like they did something wrong to realizing you respect them and they're winning, which is what they need and want. And then there's becoming verbal moaning. And, I was just here, I'm on this speaking tour in Australia, and I was at the Sexhibition Conference. And one of the things that I did in my talk, which was about why it's important to have a sex life bucket list, which I'm now answering the exact question you asked me. And that is that it helps you learn new skills. It gives you things to look forward to. When you look forward to them, you're actually, that anticipation increases desire. You have new relationship energy, even with older partners who you have been doing kind of the same things with. Now you're doing new things, learning new things together, which gets you out of your rut. So you have variety and novelty. And so I was moaning different sounds of different types of orgasms for the audience while I was on stage in my heels and lingerie.
Yes.
I mean, here I am out in the world at 64 years old, kind of doing almost a hybrid of female confidence in my elder slut era, which is what I'm calling it. And by slut, I don't mean I'm randomly sleeping around with people. I am the chief advocacy officer of a wonderful at-home STI testing company called Pro DX Health. And you can keep boxes at home, and if you find someone that you're interested in making love with, you can test, send it in, and within 24 to 48 hours of them receiving it, you get the results on your phone to share. So you know that you're both going to be able to have fluid sex without any risks.
Wow.
And so I am a safe slut. And I'm not really a slut. I don't have that many partners, but I am open always to the possibility of having another partner, but it could be that I'm just slutty for my one partner that I have, and that I'm slutty. And what slutty means is I'm surrendered to my pleasure. I'm abandoned to possibility. I'm open to joy. I'm sex positive. I'm willing to try new things. I want to have lots of orgasms. I'm seeking sexual satisfaction. I'm having a great time. I'm reveling in my pleasure. That's what slutty means to me. So when you have a sex life bucket list, you've got these things that you want to learn. Oh, I want to activate my G spot. I want to experience female ejaculation. I want to do orgasmic cross training with multiple different toys that I love. I want to have remote sex with my boyfriend. I wanted to, like there's a million things you can do. I want to learn yoni massage. This is the one thing that I would want your listeners to really take in is the possibility of learning how to receive pleasurable yoni massage, because I think it's a really good first step in your expansion of feeling more pleasure, because our female genital structures, we have as much spongy tissue, erectile tissue in our yoni as our male body partners have in their penis. So you see how it's just small and then it gets real big.
Mhm.
We have that same tissue filling system, but it's in little nooks and crannies around our whole yoni. And it takes them about a minute or two to get fully erect. It takes us about 20 to 30 minutes, depending on the frequency of pleasuring and getting those tissues filled. The more often you fill them, the better they fill. They get fillier faster. So yoni massage is a really good kind of like, okay, I want to do what Susan says. I'm going to start with yoni massage. That's the first place I would start to expand my pleasure potential, would be in either starting with myself, yoni self massage, or allowing my partner and I to learn how to do it together.
I was just going to ask you that. Is that something that is self pleasure or partner pleasure or both?
Oh,
And would is it just like you use oil, lube? I'm just asking
yeah,
them from the most basic questions.
good.
But
Yeah,
would because some people are gonna listen and they're gonna be like, I honestly have never done that, or I don't even know what I have down there. So
yeah.
just getting in there with anything that you feel is appropriate for the time.
Well, as a health practitioner, I think you're really going to appreciate my answer. We're very kindred spirits in this way, where we are very careful about what we put in and on our bodies. We pick and choose our poisons, if you will.
Hmm.
And lubes are an FDA class 2 category of product, so they have to have preservatives in them. When you go to the drugstore or the market or what have you, and you buy a lubricant, a sexual lubricant, it's kind of like ultra processed food now, where they've taken out the aloe and the jojoba oil and the MCT oil and the things that actually gave us lubrication, and they've replaced them with chemicals that are almost unpronounceable. You would have to phonetically sound the words out because they're 43 syllables, because they're just chemicals. So there are two brands that I recommend, and they are both CBD and MCT oil based. And the reason that I like CBD, which is a plant based phytocannabinoid, is that the human body has our own endocannabinoid system. And we have a lot of endocannabinoid 2 receptors in our yoni. And the endocannabinoid system is part of our pleasure healing pathway. It's part of what our body does to heal in a way that it's like, how making yourself feel good is very healing and rejuvenating.
Yes.
It's in that category. And that's what yoni massages do too. They are healing. And what's interesting about it is that it's so funny too. I literally was just my husband's sitting here in the room with me. He's working, and I literally was just talking to you about yoni massage and going, okay, I'm ready for a yoni massage. And I was just thinking, oh, our daughter's going to go. She works at an aquarium. She's so cute. She's getting her PhD here in Australia, and she works at it. She's got to work tomorrow. I'm going to get my husband to give me a yoni massage tomorrow because now I'm talking about the lubes and the yoni massage, and I'm like, mommy needs a yoni massage. Stat.
Sounds good to me.
I know. I've been getting over this terrible cold and I haven't been interested in doing anything. I've just been really off. So I like two brands. One is I have it at pleasureprotocol.com, and it's a 3-part system. There are these melts that are these intravaginal inserts that are made of cocoa butter and CBD, and you can get them. Some of them are really nice. They even have jojoba oil in them. It's just this hard little waxy insert, and you pop it up inside your vaginal cavern. It melts up in there, and it plumps it up. It softens and lubricates, especially for midlife women. And they even have them that you can put in every day. They just feel so good. Once you start lubricating your vaginal mucosal lining with cocoa butter, your microbiome improves because your vaginal microbiome, the bacteria in there, they like the oleic acid that is found in cocoa butter. They want to eat that, and they want to eat glycogen. It's the sugar that they want to eat. And red light therapy, intravaginal photobiomodulation, red light in your vagina. The device I recommend is called the Vagina Device, vaginadevice.com. Use that every other day, and it'll improve the glycogen. It'll do mitochondrial stimulation from the red light. That'll help thicken the vaginal mucosal lining. And then adding those melts in to fuel that microbiome and soften and lubricate it is so nice. The second part of the pleasure protocol, again, that's pleasureprotocol.com. I always give the links to things because women want to find them. I don't want to leave anybody hanging.
Yeah.
The second part is something called Awaken Arousal Oil. It has a little CBD and MCT oil and a little bit of like cardamom and a couple of other things that are like activating. And you know how they call your brain your biggest sex organ?
Yes.
You know how you've heard that? Like, what's your biggest sex organ? Your brain.
Your brain.
People think that's for fantasy or the role play you're talking about or things like that. And what it really is that your brain processes the pleasure signals from your cellular and nervous system. So your Ruffini nerve endings, your Pacinian corpuscles, the mechanoreceptors, there are cells in your yoni that process depth of touch, stretch mechanisms, stimulation, warmth, and send those signals to your brain, and your brain goes, oh, that feels good. I like that. Touch me there. I want it softer. I want it harder. I want more. I want it deeper. I want it up there. I want it down there. I want you to slow down. I want you to speed up. That's why your brain is your biggest sex organ. So what's great about the Awaken Arousal Oil, you rub that on the vulva, the outer, the mons, the outer labia, the clitoral shaft and tip, the inner labia, the opening, when you open your inner labia like a little door, that's the vestibule. Rub it all over there, just a little thin film. It activates the brain to yoni connection, so you begin to feel more pleasure. And then you have the third component, which is sex oil, which is for all the slide and glide that you want. Apply liberally as needed, on and on and on and on as much as you want. So you set the base intravaginally with the melt. Then you add the Awaken oil to get the brain to yoni connection going. Then you use the slide and glide with the sex oil. They are so healthy and natural. There's no preservatives in them, which is why I can't call them a sexual lubricant, because that's a government regulated thing. But it's like whole food again. It's just whole food. It's natural. And then the other one I like is at loversbundle.com. and it's a company called Nude Pleasures. And what comes with their intimacy oil, which is just as beautiful, it's just the oil itself. It doesn't have the melts and it doesn't have the awaken, but it's an MCT oil with CBD and essential oils, and it's great for full body massage as well as yoni massage. And it comes with these wonderful vitality and stamina gummies that
Ugh.
are full of cordyceps mushrooms, which are super good for blood flow, and a bunch of my favorite libido botanicals. And if you take one, it'll literally up your desire for about 3 days. They're very long lasting. So if you want to have a
Okay.
weekend of lovemaking, it's fantastic. Or just take a little nibble of one before an hour before sex and then get your yoni massage. And on betterlover.com, which is one of my main websites, just go there and type in the word yoni, YONI, and I've got a bunch of yoni massage videos that you can, I give you all, like the strategy, the plan, how to
Oh,
do
that's
it, and you
awesome.
can watch them with your partner. They're free. You can watch them with your partner, and they're really good. And that's where you can also get on my newsletter, because if you have any questions for me, I have a newsletter and I send it out twice a week, and it has all this kind of stuff. All this is everything I talk about. If you have any questions for me, you can reply to any email you get, and it goes to me personally, not to my care team. That particular newsletter is a really good newsletter for asking me a question, and I will answer you. And almost always, the answer I've already answered it to the point where I'm like, here's the article, here's the free ebook, here's the video, this is where you start, this is what to do. Because you said when you introduced me, she's written 34 books and published 34 books and programs. I've actually published 44 books and programs. 10 of them are the work of my mentors whose lineages I carry on. I've written 34 books and programs of my own. I've been doing this for decades, passionate lovemaking, bedroom communication, and intimate wellness. So betterlover.com is a good place to go. And I will, I mean, I might be traveling, it might take me a day or two, but I get back to everybody. This is how I got good at what I do. Your questions are my gift, my joy.
That's awesome. I mean, to be accessible in that kind of nature, because I'm sure everybody's like, oh, I'd love to just ask her a question or talk to her, but
Ask me. Yeah,
she's
ask
not
me
gonna.
anything.
So when you were talking about, yoni massage, and all
Yeah,
I could think about was, I mean, really, honestly, we spend so much money and we do so many things for facial care.
yeah,
And I
I
was
do.
picturing the red light mask,
Yeah.
and you walk around, you got that going, you got all your oils and stuff.
Mm.
And why do we not take care of one of the most important things that we have in the same
Shame.
way?
Shame.
Yeah,
And
shame.
also, there's censorship. So, one of the things I'm working on is a documentary. It's called Behind Closed Doors. And it won't launch till 2027 if I'm lucky, because I'm raising the money to fund it right now. I'm looking for family foundation money because there's no money to write about why censorship is ruining our health and our sexuality and our female empowerment. Like, nobody's funding those movies. So, and I'm also working with some of the sex toy brands, because the sex toy brands are stuck in the same problem, which is, you can access porn 24/7 at any age from anywhere. I mean, there are some new rules coming in, but generally, porn is readily available, but I'm censored on social media for even using the word vagina. I joke that my film should be called SEGS, SEGGS,
Right,
because we can't even use the word sex.
right.
So the reason why we don't take care of ourselves is because we don't know to, because of the censorship and the shame and the repression by our culture.
Absolutely. But it's all such a feel good process too. If you
Mm.
take care of yourself, if you have yoni care, we'll call it yoni care.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
if
I
you
like
had
it.
a nightly ritual for that, and then you
Yeah,
had your once a week ritual, you might get in and exfoliate and then do a bunch of other things.
yeah.
You'd be so much more in tune and relaxed with your body that
Oh, yeah.
that could only increase, your libido, your feelings,
Yeah.
and your own confidence in yourself. I'm picturing
definitely.
myself right now walking around with the red light mask on my face, the red light device up my
In
vagina,
your vagina. Yeah,
and just everything going at once.
yeah. Yeah, some of my favorite things to do in that, like my essentially my juicy yoni stack, if you will.
I love that. I love that.
My juicy yoni stack is regular yoni massages with the oils that I mentioned, regular solo pleasuring. I have a couple of favorite devices right now, and I keep them at drivedesire.com. All of my favorite pleasuring toys for orgasmic expansion and cross training are listed under female pleasure at drivedesire.com. So I masturbate. I'm going to say I've been masturbating more and more lately since I recently discovered a couple of toys that I love. One's called the Pearl and one's called the Pro Wand, and they're on that drivedesire.com. And they feel so incredible. And I think I've just been using toys enough over the last couple of decades now that my vagina and my vulva, my yoni are so responsive and it's so pleasurable that I just want to masturbate more. So I masturbate 3, 5, 7 times a week, somewhere in there. And then I like to make love 2 to 4 times a week. That's kind of with time and scheduling sex and busyness and traveling and speaking and, all the things we do. That's kind of a good rhythm for me when I can do it. And then sometimes I get sick and, we go for days or a week without having sex and nobody likes it, but it's the reality of being in a human body. My meat bag gets sick. Um, and then I like the red light therapy. I go on and off every year or so. I'll use it for like 6 to 8 weeks, and then everything's perfect, and then I just tuck it in the drawer till I need it again. So I like that. And then I take nitric oxide here. Actually, I think I literally have my bottle of my nitric oxide right here. This is the nitric oxide booster I like. It's called Flow Nitric Oxide Booster. Nitric oxide is the gaseous signaling molecule that you need for your vascular system to squeeze the blood to your brain when you're thinking, to your heart or your glutes or whatever when you're working out, and then to your pelvic bowl when you're becoming aroused. And most people think that it's their hormones that are making them dry. Your vaginal tissue and basically your vulval tissue thins from the loss of estrogen and collagen as you age, so it can't hold as much moisture. But it's actually the nitric oxide, the diminishment of your nitric oxide production, preventing you from getting blood flow into the pelvic bowl. Because when you get the blood flowing in there, then the sponges fill up, and then there's more surface area that
Mm.
sends more pleasure signals to the brain. So you can feel the pleasure and sensation because you get diminished clitoral sensation as you age, and you get loss of lubrication because your vagina is not a gland like the prostate. It doesn't lubricate itself. It's the blood flow into the vaginal mucosal lining, which is a very kind of it thins, and then it's like it can't hold as much liquid, so you get dry.
Right.
So increasing nitric oxide is what actually improves lubrication. And most people don't understand that. And so eating leafy green vegetables, eating beetroot really help a lot, but our soils are nitrogen depleted. So
Mm.
I supplement with Flow, and I have a link for that too. Get Flow free. You can get the first month free and see if you like it. You'll notice the difference, and you'll be like, "Oh, okay, I get this now. This is making sense to me." So, I like a nitric oxide booster. I take that, and then what else do I do that's really, really good for vaginal juiciness? So, the oils, the regular yoni massage and masturbation and love making, the blood flow. Oh, vaginal estrogen. I really like topical vaginal estrogen, and that helps thicken the tissue and keep the microbiome good. And the one that I like is from Dr. Michelle Sands. It's at Glow Below. It's over the counter. You don't even need a prescription. And her
Wow.
formulation is like, let me know if you want me to have her send it to you. It's fantastic. Um, it's like a vaginal serum. So it makes your yoni, it's like a moisturizer for your yoni with
Okay.
estrogen in it. It feels
Wow.
so good. So I like that. And then I also take systemic estrogen.
Right.
I do a little patch and a little oral estrogen in addition to the topical vaginal estrogen. And I also use a testosterone cream, and I don't use the men's testosterone cream because they smell funky and they're full of chemicals, the drugstore
Yes.
variety. I get a compounded one from my pharmacy and from my compounding pharmacy, and I put it on my body, on my skin, but I also put some directly on my clitoris and labia. It keeps the tissue meaty.
Mm.
So my clitoris is bigger than it's ever been because instead of vaginal atrophy, I've actually done things that improve the whole genital structure because I'm a sexual biohacker. So I'm doing things that most women may not be doing, but one of the things a lot of women are doing is the O shot, the orgasm shot.
Right.
I started with those. Those are PRP. That's the platelet rich plasma taken out of your own blood. And I liked those, but I harvested my own stem cells because I had a lot of COVID soft tissue damage, and I tore my ACLs and my MCLs and my thumb joints,
Wow. Oh,
and one from skiing, one from scuba diving. And because the tissue was so damaged from the virus. And so I've been doing stem cell injections into all my joints and trying to regrow all the ligaments and to
right.
shore that up and get rid of that pain and reverse that damage. And so I've also injected my own stem cells into my clitoral structures,
Oh,
and just to see how it
right.
did, and it did great. And I did it also up in the G spot on the in the kind of the top of the vagina because I was having a little urinary incontinence, so I was working on that, and it all really helped. And then I also get Gaines wave treatments. Gainswave is much better than the Mona Lisa Touch or the RF device. The RF and the CO2 devices, I feel like they're what men created because they were like, well, we can do them on their face, so let's do them in their vaginas too. But when you only repair the vagina, you're not repairing the clitoral and labial structures, and you're making it so you can get penetrated, but you're not making it so I can have pleasure? No, screw you. I'm going to get Gainswave. Gainswave is an acoustic wand that goes all over the entire yoni and all around the entrance and the perineum, and it stimulates new tissue growth through acoustic wave, which is much more delicate than the CO2 and the RF. The CO2 and the RF, they make me weep. They're like subcutaneous burns. They're nasty. I would
Wow.
never go back to doing those again. Gaines Wave is the best thing. It's it's natural, it's regenerative, it's pain free, and you have to do 6 treatments. If you do 6 treatments, it slowly rebuilds all that tissue loss. And now what do you have? You have a great vaginal microbiome. You've gotten rid of your incontinence. You've got beautiful, plump, luscious labia, a strong lady boner clitoral structure. You've got lots of lubrication. Everything's working again. So now you've got the vagina you had when you were 20, the vulvovaginal system you had when you were 20, but you're 60, 40, 50, 60 with all the lessons learned and the love you have for yourself and the confidence you have. And it's like the perfect storm. Your elder slut era needs your gains waves and your nitric oxides and your great lubes and all that stuff.
Well, um, I wanted to come like I could talk to you for probably
I know
decades.
we
I
got
could
to
just
wrap
sit and
up.
talk.
We've had such a good
But
time.
I wanted to kind of bring it all full circle with you
Yeah.
and ask. So, or maybe make this statement.
Yeah, go ahead.
Women, we feel like, or we've been taught or told that, okay, just like you mentioned in the beginning, our biological purpose that they tell us has now expired. Basically, our only purpose left in life is, if we have grandkids, is to help pass on to the next generation knowledge that we have. However, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you're not, that we can have possibly the best sex we've ever had as women rolling into our midlife, that and beyond, with, because of the knowledge and because of the experiences, if we would open our mind, all the techniques that you mentioned to combat the biological processes that we're going through. But is it okay for us to be in our elder slut era?
Well, you could just consume television and buy things that you don't need and be nervous and scroll social media and consume rage bait, which I honestly do a lot of. Um, or you could cook healthy food, get good sleep, work out, have hot, massively multi orgasmic sex, be uncontrollably delicious and amazingly creative, and give your gifts to the world till the day you die. I mean,
I,
really, that's your choice.
I like that choice. I really like that choice.
I like that choice for you, Cal.
Thanks. Um, well, one of the things, and I'll end with this, is that I 100% appreciate, I hope everybody else out there appreciates the fact that you told your truth. You didn't come on, when you first come on and we're like, wow, she's 64 and she's got a husband, a lover, a boyfriend. She's killing it. She's so knowledgeable. She's so into her body. Clearly, she's got to be a freaking unicorn with the genetics of, superstar genetics. And the fact that you sat here and told us all the things that you've tried, what went right, what went wrong, what you had to deal with, totally humanized you and brought you back to like, yeah, I know that. Yeah, I'm going through that too. I 100% appreciate that.
Thank
It was
you.
so refreshing to hear that. And I hope, I really hope that everybody jumps on, and I'm going to get them in a second. All your social media, your websites, which every link that Susan said, we're gonna get in there because I want them. So
Good.
I'm already like add to cart over here. But I always ask guests one thing, and I spring it
Okay.
on you. So if you don't know it right now, it's fine. We can have it emailed over to me. But if you could pick one theme song, because I have a
Mhm.
Spotify playlist for the podcast, and I ask
Yeah.
every guest, it's so eclectic. If there's one song that describes one era or your entire life, what would that be?
Oh, well, it's the song that everybody plays when I walk on stage, which is Let's Talk About Sex, Baby.
Oh, right there.
I
I
mean, come on, that's
love
got to be
that.
my theme song, right?
I love that. That's your walkout song.
That's my walkout song. And I don't pick it, they always pick it for me. It's so cute.
All right. That's going on. I'll probably work out with that song tomorrow too. I'll be so excited.
It'll get you going.
Where can everyone easily, besides the links that you gave, where can everyone
Yeah.
find you, follow you? Because seriously fascinated, and I know everybody's going to jump on to follow you.
Oh, thank you. Instagram is my name, Susan Bratton, and it's SusanBratton. You have to smush it together. Susan Bratton, all one word. I'm also on Threads. I also have a YouTube channel. It's called Better Lover. And of course, my betterlover.com website where you can sign up for my newsletter and ask me anything and watch those yoni videos, yoni
Oh,
massage videos.
I'm queuing them up tonight. I'm fascinated. My whole nighttime ritual is now not even just the face. Well, I'm going yoni all the way. In fact, I might spend
Excellent.
more money on the yoni because
Yeah, good. And I'll tell you something. Another, when you go to drivedesire.com, there's a yoni massage tool I love there called the Queen. That is my favorite automatic yoni massage tool. So if you are solo pleasuring, especially, it's nice. But also, if you're training your partner to give you a yoni massage, it's good to give. And most of us are pair bonded with men. Some of us a couple. It's always nice to give them a tool. They're good with tools. They're good with their hands, most of them, but they're also really good with tools. And so, get him the lube, get him the yoni massager, or have him get them for you. And then give yourselves an opportunity to begin as beginners together. There's one more video on Better Lover that you guys are going to love. It's called How to Make Love to an Old Lady.
Love it. Love it. Love it. That's
Thank
awesome.
you so much for having me. I've really
Thank you,
enjoyed your
Susan.
guidance and questions and kindness and everything.
I just appreciate you coming on here and being so damn authentic. It was awesome. And
Good.
speaking about the things that we really wanted to talk about and we really wanted to know. So everybody go follow Susan wherever you can find her. And thank you again, Susan. It was awesome.
My pleasure.
Good night. Well, for you, good
I
day.
Yeah, g'day. G'day, mate.
Good
For me,
night,
it's
mate.
g'day, mate. Let me give you my email address and send me an email, and I would be happy to gift you our whole library of products. If you would like any of those products sent to you, the oils or what have you, I can get that for you.
Okay.
Just send me your address and tell me what you want. And then I'm going to introduce you to Anja Sampana. She's my promotions manager. And if you do clips or any promotions, whatever you do,